Today on Game News USA, we go over the retrospective for Nick Fuentes. Hello, this is RJ from Game News USA. This isn't our normal content. We're in political season, so during our retrospectives, we've been covering political people. So if this isn't the video for you, please check out the many other videos on my channels where we cover game news, reviews, movie scores, and top 10 lists. I got plenty for you, including gaming live streams. So, if you want to continue the video, thank you for being here. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Today, we're going to talk about Nick Fuentes, and I'm going to give a reaction to his retrospective, essentially, his life, his legacy, and what I think about him. So, let's start off with the fact that Nick Fuentes was born August 18th, 1998. I can't believe he's that much younger than me. To parents William and Lauren, Fuentes lived in LaGrange Park, Illinois, and attended Lyons Township High School, where he was president of the student council. He studied introductory international relations and politics during his freshman year at Boston University. He dropped out in 2017 after completing his freshman year, claiming he received threats for attending the white supremacist Unite the Right rally at Charlottesville, Virginia. He said he would transfer to Auburn University in fall of 2017, saying Auburn has better weather and better people, but ultimately did not confirm his enrollment. According to Nick, he is of Mexican descent via his paternal ancestors and is Catholic. Nick identifies as an incel, or involuntary celibate, although some of his supporters have criticized him for being a voluntary celibate after he admitted that he kissed a girl while in high school. He has described himself as the straightest guy and attempted to defend himself as an incel by claiming that the only really straight heterosexual position is to be an asexual incel. Oh, jeez. So this guy thinks the only way you could be straight is to not have sex at all. This is what we're dealing with, people. And I'd hate to be so crass so early in the retrospective, but these are the first things that come up about Nick Fuentes. He says having sex with a woman is gay. Okay. What's gayer than being like, I need cuddles and kisses, I need time to spend with a woman? What is this guy talking about? Like, what is he seriously talking about? First of all, I don't think there's anything wrong if someone wants to be gay. Secondly, you are literally, if you are a man and you're doing stuff with a woman, that is straight. He's confused. Nick began commentating on politics through a local radio and TV station hosted by his high school, where he espoused mainstream conservative views. He hosts the episodic live stream America First with Nicholas J. Fuentes, which began in 2017 during his freshman year at Boston University. America First is characterized by Nick's frequent use of jokes and irony to appeal to Generation Z, while providing plausible deniability for his often extreme views. On his show in April 2017, Nick asserted that Muslim speech was not covered by the First Amendment. First of all, he's wrong. He went on to say, who runs the media? Globalist. Time to the globalist. And I want people that run CNN to be arrested and deported or hanged because this is deliberate. Those are his words. The publisher of the show at the time, Right Side Broadcasting Network, issued an apology calling the comments unacceptable and inappropriate. Following other comments, as well as publicity over his attendance at the Unite the Right rally, he left the RSBN in August 2017. In February 2022, Nick claimed that he was fired by RSBN CEO Joe Seals. Well, is this guy a liar or what? He co-hosted the Nationalist Review podcast with another white nationalist, James Alsop, until January 2018, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. The two had a public falling out, with each host accusing the other of laziness, impropriety, and variety of petty slights. In April 2018, Fuentes spoke at the American Renaissance Conference. Sad. Nick has repeatedly criticized Turning Point USA and its founder Charlie Kirk, accusing them of betraying Donald Trump by advocating in favor of mass legal immigration, supporting for foreign aid to the State of Israel, and LGBT issues. Throughout October and November 2019, his supporters were present at many of Kirk's public speaking events, which featured guest speakers including Donald Trump, Laura Trump, and Kimberly Guilfoyle. I can't say her name. These campaigns frequently involved asking questions that prompt viewers to look up far-right, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and hoaxes online. Fuentes has characterized the campaign as a grassroots effort to expose Turning Point USA as ideologically inconsistent with the ideology espoused by Donald Trump and other right-wing populists. As a result of the campaign, some right-wing mainstream media politicians and pundits disavowed Fuentes, characterizing his beliefs as extreme and out of touch with mainstream conservatism. I mean, you're going to have different branches within conservatism, for sure. Clearly, he's on the extreme side of it. In December 2019, Fuentes approached conservative political commentator Ben Shapiro, who was walking by with his wife and young children outside the Turning Point USA event in West Palm Beach, Florida. Fuentes had asked Shapiro why he had given a speech at Stanford University attacking Fuentes. The encounter was filmed and led to criticism of Fuentes. Yes, because Shapiro is literally out there with his wife and his kids and his family, and Fuentes comes up to him like a freak, confronting him about shit. Like, bro, come on. There's a time and a place. Fuentes has received support from conservative commentator Michael Malkin, who agreed to speak at the first annual America First Political Action Conference in February 2020, and again at a second conference in February 2021. In November 2019, Malkin was fired by the Young America's Foundation after 17 years of employment over her support of Fuentes. Fuentes hosted his second annual AFPAC event in February 2021, speaking alongside Malkin. Former Iowa Representative Steve King and current Arizona Representative Paul Gosar. Later that month, he was barred from the Hyatt Regency Orlando, where he attempted to start a commotion on the CPAC floor. Fuentes was again removed by CPAC in July 2021 after harassing a journalist. Color me surprised. At an event held across the street, he said that now he has been banned from Twitter. I have nothing to lose. This is going to be the most racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, Holocaust-denying speech in all of Dallas this weekend. What a fucking weirdo. And also, he knows damn well the Holocaust happened. And yet he's going to sit there and he's going to make a speech like it never did. Like, what a piece of shit grifter, honestly. And not only that, but even if he believes the shit that he's saying, then he's just a piece of shit human being who also can't look at evidence and also has no compassion or empathy. That's what I think about Nick Fuentes. Let's see. Fuentes hosted his third annual AFPAC event in February 2022, Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene attended his conference, while Idaho Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeachin and Congressman Paul Gosar pre-recorded videos that were played at the event. This was criticized, including by other Republicans such as Mitt Romney. I don't like him either. Greene later said that she did not know who the organizers of the conference were. In June 2024, Fuentes and far-right influencer Jake Shields were prevented from attending the Turning Point USA conference in Detroit. AFPAC 2024 was canceled by the venue, but they held an alternative event. This reminds me in high school, if no one takes you to prom, and you all kind of just get together, and you call it a morp, and you just hang out and smoke weed in your mother's basement. But anyway, the alternate event was attended by Solmian Ahmed, an online anti-Israel commentator, and David Duke, formerly of the KKK. What a bastard. What a bastard. Fuentes was among the far-right individuals and groups who participated in the rallies that led up to January 6th United States Capitol attack. At the pro-Trump protests in Washington, D.C., in December 2020, Fuentes led a crowd to chant "Destroy the GOP" and encouraged them to sit out the United States Senate special runoff election in Georgia. That's smart. In February 2021, a video of his speech was played during the second impeachment trial of President Trump by House Delegate Stacey Plaskett. Fuentes was among a group of far-right activists and groups who received large donations in Bitcoin, that's not worth a lot anymore, from a French donor on December 8th, 2020. Fuentes received 13.5 Bitcoin, approximately $681,750 at the time, which was by far the largest share. The donor also posted an apparent self-delete note, according to blockchain analyst group Chain Analysis. The donor's status has not been confirmed. The FBI began an investigation as to whether any of the money went towards the financing of illegal acts, such as the storming of the U.S. Capitol. On December 12, 2020, at a rally the day after the Supreme Court declined to hear Texas versus Pennsylvania, Fuentes spoke to a crowd of supporters at the Freedom Plaza, stating, "It is us and our ancestors that created everything good that you see in this country. All these people have taken over our country. We do not need them. It is the American people and our leader, Trump, against everybody else in the country and this world. Our founding fathers would get in the streets and they would take this country back by force if necessary. And that is what we must be prepared to do." The man wants to go to war. He wants to go to war. Go to war. Just sounds like, honestly, I have a different perspective about this guy than I thought I would going in. From this standpoint, I look at him as just another one of these crying Gen Z incels. But instead of being the typical person on the left, he's one of these from the right. You know what I mean? On January 4th, 2021, 2 days before the storming of the U.S. Capitol, Fuentes discussed offing state legislators who were unwilling to overturn the results of the 2020 election. See, that is where you've already lost me before this, but you lose me even more when you're talking about offing people for how they're carrying out their constitutional duty. Like, what are you doing? It's not that serious, bro. Like, yeah, I don't really support Kamala Harris or the Biden ticket or what's been going on the last 4 years. But I'm not going to sit here and act like our country is on the verge of complete and total catastrophe. You know, if one party's in or the other. I'm not going to sit here and act like Donald Trump is the savior. Just because I agree with more of his policies than the other candidate. It doesn't really change too terribly much what has happened in this world. I have grown up in Republican led presidencies and Democrat led presidencies. Life is what life is, man. Like, they only can curtail things around the edges. You make what life is for yourself. Okay? I'd hate to break it to anybody that's super fucking political. According to several media outlets, Fuentes was part of a mob that attacked the Capitol. The Southern Poverty Law Center reported that Fuentes was visible in both live streams and images amidst a mob of pro-Trump insurrectionists. Oh, another thing I'll say about January 6th. The people that act like this is worse than 9/11, it's worse than Pearl Harbor, go fuck yourself. First of all, it's physically not possible for it to be worse because less people died by a large margin. And it was not as serious as people really acted out to be. If you really thought on January 6th it was a coup against the country that would have swayed anything that was going to happen anyway, then you honestly need to be checked mentally about what is real and what is not real. Okay? It was a tragedy and it was bad, and I will call out the other side for doing such a stupid act. But at the same time, it was not Pearl Harbor, it was not 9/11. Can we chill on both sides of the aisle just a little bit, okay? Let the people vote, let the people decide, and then chill out. You know what I mean? And try to make your life better. I know this sounds like I'm sitting on the fence. I'm not sitting on the fence because the thing I want is peace on both sides. Can we have that? You know what I mean? Can we have polite disagreements? Okay, so I'm voting for Trump. So what? If you're a lefty, if you're a liberal, and you watch this channel, so what? If I have a different political take than you. I hope you watch the show anyway and don't think any less of me, and I won't think any less of you either. And if you're on the right and you're like, well, you're not fighting hard enough for us, you're not standing up for Fuentes, well, guess what? That's because I'm not a piece of shit person. That's because I'm not going to sit here and prop up somebody who's an anti-Semitic, racist fucking asshole and sit there and act like, well, because he agrees with me on one thing, I'm going to forgive all his other bad actions. No, I'm going to call it out like it is. I'm an independent. I'm an independent thinker with an independent mind, and I will give my thought and opinion on things. And so far, everything that I've read, this is a total piece of shit I'm reading about. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I also like your support on the channel and would like you to stay on the channel. Even if you like Fuentes, even if you agree with Fuentes, I don't care. That's fine with me. I don't care who you are. You could be a fan of mine and a fan of his, or you could hate him and be a fan of mine. It's fine. I don't hate you. Please don't hate me. Although he did not enter the building, he allegedly shouted encouragement for the rioters to keep moving towards the Capitol. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he wanted. He wanted the big show, you know? Fuentes himself admitted to being present during the attack but denied criminal conduct, describing rumors that an unidentified figure seen inside Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office was him as fake news. On January 19, 2022, the United States House Select Committee on the January 6th attack issued a subpoena to Fuentes. On November 22nd, 2022, Donald Trump hosted Fuentes and Kanye West at a dinner in Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. The meeting was at West's request. West said that Trump was really impressed by Nick Fuentes. Oh boy. Oh no. Trump released a statement saying that after contacting him earlier in the week to arrange the visit, West unexpectedly showed up with 3 of his friends, whom I knew nothing about, with whom Trump denied, and that the dinner was quick and uneventful. Trump further elaborated several days later that he met with West to help a seriously troubled man who just happened to be black, who has been decimated in his business and virtually everything else. Trump also acknowledged advising West to drop out of the race. Well, of course, because West is only going to take votes away from Trump if he's running for president himself. You know what I mean? Members of the meeting gave contradictory accounts of what occurred. According to Axios, A source stated Trump seemed very taken by Fuentes and impressed that the 24-year-old was able to rattle off statistics and recall speeches dating back to his 2016 campaign. Well, he studied. Okay, I never said Fuentes was stupid, which means it makes me think that he's come to the wrong conclusions about things, or he's a grifter. He also paraphrased the conversations. The source of Fuentes told the president he preferred him to be authentic and that Trump seemed scripted, unlike himself during his recent 2020 campaign announcement speech. Trump responded, "You like it better when I speak off the cuff." The source said Fuentes replied that he did, calling Trump an amazing president when he was unrestrained. There was a lot of fawning back and forth, the source added. I think that's, I think Trump can be nice to people he's in front of. I think a lot of people can be. And sometimes the media will make it seem like, oh, you're fawning over him. You're kissing his ass. I don't think that for a second. West also stated that after asking Trump to be his vice presidential candidate, could you guys imagine if Trump sat there and fucking made Kanye West his vice presidential candidate? Anyway, Trump stated, basically screaming at me at the table, yelling at me, telling me I was going to lose. I mean, has that ever worked for anyone in history? I'm like, hold on, Trump, you're talking to ye. Dude, he's trying to get you to drop out of the race because you siphon off votes from him. But he wasn't going to make you your VP. You insane man. The meeting received significant attention and comment from domestic and international political figures. The nature of the event, in which a former president hosted guests with open anti-Semitic beliefs, was considered unprecedented in the modern era and garnered intense bipartisan criticism of Trump, with Republican leaders in Congress making a rare rebuke of Trump. The scandal raised questions over Trump's tenability as a candidate in the 2024 election among American Jews. The ensuing discussion was described by a New York Times writer. Okay, I have no problem talking to anybody. I do think that your time is of a premium if you're a man that's as famous and busy as Donald Trump, so it's interesting he chose those guys to speak to. However, I believe in everybody having a voice, even if it's a voice you don't agree with. Because for every Kanye West out there that's spouting off anti-Semitic beliefs, there's like 1 million people who could shoot him down immediately. And that's how free speech works. Initially, Trump had attempted to defend the dinner in a tweet, assuring critics that West had expressed no anti-Semitic views at the dinner table. According to the Washington Post, Trump initially believed that the events of the evening would blow over. But by December 1st, the subsequent actions of Kanye and Fuentes after the dinner had painted a different picture of the situation. Commentator Charlie Skies argued that Trump had been consistent in his reluctance to offend what he regards as the crucial part of his base that he has nurtured over the years. He is unapologetic about associating with overt neo-Nazis and unwilling to issue full-throated denunciations of anti-Semitism. Trump is willing to draw this barrage of opprobrium for one simple reason. He believes that if he tapped into something in the American electorate, especially among evangelical Christians who have ingrained but complicated attitudes towards Israel and Jews. Former Vice President Mike Pence also served during Trump's term in office, stated, "I think he should apologize for it, and I think he should denounce those individuals and their hateful rhetoric without qualification." Israeli Prime Minister-designate Benjamin Netanyahu labeled the meeting as a mistake. In a follow-up interview, he stated on this matter on Kanye West and that other unacceptable guest, Nick Fuentes, "I think it's not merely unacceptable, it's just wrong. And I hope he sees his way of staying out of it and condemning it." So that happened. That was a mistake. That was a big blowout. Fuentes has stated that his goal is to turn the Republican Party into a truly reactionary party. Fuentes strongly opposes immigration, which he believes is a demographic threat to the United States. Pause for 1 second. I have no issue with immigration. I do have a problem with illegal immigration. I don't think we should be handing out amnesty to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that crosses the border. But this guy's against regular ass immigration. If, that's an issue there. Because I think immigrants are fine to have in the country. I do. I don't think we should shut off the border like that. I do think we need to stop illegal immigration, though, and deport the ones who have come in. But I have no hate in my heart towards those people. This guy does. Or at least claims to do so for his grift. Fuentes opposes feminism. He hopes to have the alt-right displace conservatism and the GOP, criticizing mainstream conservative groups and claiming that Christian Republican voters get screwed over because the GOP is run by Jews, atheists, and homosexuals. See, that again, that's not true. That's just not true. A majority of the country is still Christian, and a huge majority of the Republican Party is still Christian. And yeah, so the Republican Party's not ran by Jews, atheists, or homosexuals. And even if it were, how is that a problem on its face? You know what I mean? Because unless they're implementing policies that are anti-straight or anti-Christian to those people, how is that an issue? And we know those policies don't exist. Vice reporter Tess Owen has written that Fuentes has positioned himself as the kingpin of the ultra-nationalist youth movement. And that's the biggest reason I'm covering Fuentes. Because he is speaking to young people who have been disillusioned by the current world and their prospects and the process. And Fuentes himself being an incel, leading a bunch of other right-wing incels, that most of them would go, most of these young people, they tend to turn to this left-wing communism, cancel culture stuff. But this block of young, conservative, nationalist, Republican youth does exist, and Fuentes is their face. So I felt like it's very important to cover this because it really shows the underlying issues. Whenever I covered Vosh, that was a good example of he's leading this left-wing incel cancel culture BS. And Fuentes is just that, but bigger and the opposite. But both are extremely dangerous for some of the attitudes it espouses. When I would prefer the country to have a more libertarian mindset when it came to social issues. Because I think ultimately that's the way we get to more peace. Now, we could argue economics, conservative or liberal ideas, or libertarian ideas, but I think it's pretty clear on social issues. I feel really strongly that a libertarian approach is the best method because it's almost an to each their own, an individual empowerment movement. And people can absolutely disagree with me, but you have to also be respectful when doing so and not just be a racist piece of shit. Fuentes has spoken positively of a tidal wave of white identity following his attendance of the 2017 Charlottesville Unite the Right rally, and sees America's white demographic core as central to the country's identity. Okay, I'm going to touch on that for a second. What he believes America should be white and white only, essentially. I think America is a melting pot. And I don't think I'm wrong. I think he's wrong. Because there's also a lot of white people that don't mind other people of color. I don't mind, obviously. So what is the problem here, man? Just because people don't agree with you? I mean, so what? Get over it. Despite promoting white supremacist beliefs such as the white genocide conspiracy theory, Fuentes has claimed that he is not a white supremacist. So this is moving the goalpost. You are what you say you are. Or you are what it looks like you are. You know what I mean? Fuentes has claimed that term is an anti-white slur. It exists, man. Look, I think it gets overused, and I think the word racist gets way overused, but it actually applies to people like you. Fuentes wants the United States to be white, Christian country, and has specified that it is not a Judeo-Christian country. Fuentes also holds anti-Semitic views and denies the Holocaust. He knows it happened. He's just denying it because that's his grift. In January 2019, Fuentes aired a monologue in which he implied he questions the death toll of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Look, it could be an estimate. I'm sure it's not exactly 6 million. Fuentes later disputed that he had ever denied the Holocaust, calling his monologue a lampoon. Okay, so he says he denies it, then he says he didn't deny it. The guy's always moving the goalposts. Fuentes' use of irony to avoid consequences of his words, citing a 2020 video where Fuentes said, "Irony is so important for giving a lot of cover and plausible deniability for our views, specifically regarding Holocaust denial." Look, man, either stand on the views or don't, but don't play this fucking dog whistle game. During his speech at AFPAC 2022, Fuentes bestowed giggling praise on Adolf Hitler. Yeah, that guy. In 2023, he advocated for the execution of perfidious Jews, among other groups he called evildoers, stating that they need to be given the death penalty. Vladimir Putin, during the AFPAC speech in which he praised Hitler, Fuentes said that the media has been comparing Vladimir Putin to Hitler, as if it wasn't a good thing. What the fuck are you doing? Did no one ever teach you in school that Hitler is bad? Fuentes also asked the audience, can we get a round of applause for Russia, which was followed by a roaring applause and chants of Putin, Putin, Putin. On March 10th, 2022, Fuentes praised Tsar Putin for the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which he claimed was to liberate Ukraine from the great Satan and from the great evil empire of the world, which is the United States. So this man is trying to talk about how he loves the USA, then he calls it the great Satan. Make it make sense. The United States has the most freedom in the world. Yes, we don't have enough freedom here, but we have the most freedom in the world. Russia was wrong for attacking Ukraine. Now, I do think we're wasting our fucking money giving money to Ukraine. That's me personally. I would just stay out of it. But I'm not going to cheer Russia on either. Fuentes is a Catholic integralist and Christian nationalist. He has said you're either a Catholic or you're one of the Jews. And he has voiced support for a Catholic government and a Catholic media. Do you guys, and I mean this absolutely no disrespect to Catholics. I have been to a Catholic service or two in my time. I've been to many churches in my time. I can honestly tell you, the Catholic Church was the most boring service I'd ever been a part of. Could you imagine having our country ran that way? Think about all the alleged pedos that work in the Catholic Church. That's really what you want? No, thank you. And this is no shot at Catholicism. If you believe in it, by all means, go for it. But that is not the model I want to be running the country. Fuentes supports a Christian theocracy instead of what he calls a Jewish-occupied government. Again, we don't have that many Jews to be occupying governments. Why does he think this? Fuentes has described himself as a reactionary who supports autocracy, Catholic monarchy, just war, the Crusades, and the Inquisition. And Fuentes opposes democracy. There you have it, right there. He opposes democracy. How much more do you need to see before you realize Fuentes is so far right, he's went full circle. At some point, you go so far left and so far right, you meet up into authoritarianism. And that's what we have. And he openly admits it. Fuentes has frequently spread conspiracy theories and misinformation surrounding the... I'm not even going to talk about the coup. I'm skipping that part. In December 2020, Fuentes reportedly had an altercation on a flight over mask mandates. I'll be the first one to tell you, I am fucking totally against mask mandates. Yes, I know the irony because I'm wearing a mask on my face right now. Trust me, as soon as I stop recording, I take this fucking thing off. I hate having to wear it constantly for hours upon hours upon hours when dealing with the public. Also, this doesn't block my nose and my mouth. The mask mandates could go fuck themselves. I would stand side by side with Nick Fuentes to fight fucking mask mandates day in, day out. It's one of the things I hated the fucking most that happened in this country the last 4 or 5 years. Fuck that. He has spoken out against the LGBT agenda and has described transgender people and same-sex marriage as deviancy. That's his opinion. I don't agree with it. Following the Dobbs versus Jackson decision that overturned Roe v. Wade in June 2022, Fuentes praised the Supreme Court of the United States for overturning that decision. He said that Jews stood in the way of doing so, and that by the Dobbs decision meant that banning gay marriage is back on the menu, banning sodomy is back on the menu, banning contraceptives is back on the menu, and basically we're having something like Taliban rule in America in a good way. No, that's stupid. That's dumb as fuck. That is so dumb, man. Do not police the bedroom. Like, that's like one area for sure the government needs to stay out of, is policing the fucking bedroom. How are you actually a conservative, like, in the traditional sense, if you want to police the bedroom? Seriously. That is not conservatism to me. That's not libertarianism to me. To each their own. Like, don't push it in the media. But behind closed doors, what you do with another consenting adult is your fucking business. In a documentary for the BBC broadcast in 2022, Fuentes told the interviewer, Louis Trudeau, that he believes it would be better if women did not have the right to vote. Again, my guy, you're trying to set us back over 100 years. Women have the right to vote. They are people just like men are. Okay? It's really that easy. They're intelligent enough to vote. Like, look, I mean, I can make jokes about female drivers all day long. But, I mean, it used to be that only property owners could vote. Did you know that? You think we should go back to that? Bullshit. In July 2023, appearing on the Fresh and Fit podcast, Fuentes stated that women were baby machines because that's what their brains are about. Women have done incredible things, dude. Look at, like, you know, all the women in the world that have gone on to accomplish great things. I mean, some women choose to be housewives, let them. Some women don't. Some women are barren. Who gives a shit? Fuentes has praised the conservative religious aspect of the Taliban governance after the Afghan government fell to the Taliban while American forces were withdrawing in 2021. Fuentes posted on the Telegram messaging service, the Taliban is a conservative religious force. The U.S. is godless and liberal. So he supports the Taliban over our U.S. troops. Come on, guys. I'm Game News USA. 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 This guy is for the fucking Taliban, Putin, Hitler. He's for all the enemies the United States has ever had. Why? Leave the country then. Despite dining with Trump in 2022, Fuentes has become increasingly critical of Trump in 2024. On August 9th, 2024, he posted on X that he had declared a new Groyper war against the 2024 Trump campaign. His campaign had been hijacked by the same consultants, lobbyists, and donors that he defeated in 2016, and they're blowing it, and was headed for a catastrophic loss. Fuentes began calling his own followers to bring the energy with memes, edits, replies, and trolls aimed at pressuring the Trump campaign to adopt further right positions on race and immigration, as well as urging Donald Trump to fire his campaign advisors. Okay, bottom line is this. Okay, you force Trump to go further right. Guess what happens? Then he loses the election. You have to pivot more to a general independent stance during the election. Okay, you have to. You do. Yes, you still believe in the things you believe in, but you're asking him to not believe in the things he believes in and trying to push him further right. And really, that's not how you do things, because if you push him too far right before the general election, the independents decide all the elections. You fucking lose if you do that. You dumbass. Fuentes threatened to escalate pressures in the real world, urging followers to withhold their votes and protest Trump rallies in battleground states. That kind of strategy right there almost makes me think Kamala Harris is paying for Fuentes. I really believe it, possibly, that the Democrats have hired Fuentes to be an inside agent, because that is the dumbest thing you could do. Because if you are a complete right-winger, why the fuck would you do anything that gets Kamala Harris elected? Make it make sense, Nick. On Fuentes' show, America First has attracted a cult following, which Fuentes refers to as the Groypers, or the Groyper Army. Excuse me. Fuentes cites the candidacy and presidency of Donald Trump as an inspiration for America First. In February 2022, social media platform Truth Social verified Fuentes' account. Fuentes has been deplatformed from various social media websites, payment processors, and other services. In January 2020, Fuentes' YouTube channel was demonetized, and one of the videos was removed by YouTube as a violation for their hate speech policies, which is what makes covering this so fucking hard. So I'm going to make this fucking crystal clear to YouTube if this video ever gets taken down. I am not saying the things that Nick Fuentes is saying. I do not agree with the things that Nick Fuentes is saying. I am presenting what Nick Fuentes is saying, and I'm covering what he's saying. Do not take this video down. God, I hate censorship. Fuentes had previously been banned from Twitch and Reddit. On February 14, 2020, his YouTube channel was terminated for violating policies of hate speech. In January 2020, Time reported that Fuentes was the most viewed live streamer on the DLive platform. DLive was criticized for allowing Fuentes to use their platform. Again, speak, brother, speak. You're a fucking idiot, but you deserve to speak. Following the January 6th United States Capitol attack, his DLive channel was subsequently suspended permanently for inciting violent and illegal activities. Arrest him then. According to ABC News in March of 2021, Fuentes has been suspended from almost all social media platforms. Fuentes claimed that his bank account has been frozen, and that he's been placed on a federal no-fly list, and that he's been banned from Airbnb, Facebook, and Instagram. Fuentes described these actions as overt political persecution. On that note, I agree with him. On that note, Twitter was among the last mainstream social media sites to ban Fuentes. Identifyingly suspended his verified account in July 2021. He has also been banned from financial and e-commerce services including PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Shopify, Stripe, Streamlabs, and Coinbase. On January 25th, 2023, his verified Twitter account was briefly reinstated. According to Hannah Gase, a senior researcher at the Southern Poverty Law Center. He immediately praised Hitler and the Unabomber and declared Jews now on the news. Twitter banned him again the next day. Guys, by banning him the next day, you prove his point to his fucking idiot followers. Do you not understand that? I swear to God, man. In December 2021, social media platform Getter permanently suspended Fuentes. The site received backlash from Fuentes' fan base as well as from Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers, who wrote, "What is the point of a free speech alternative to Twitter that doesn't even honor free speech?" Smartest thing I've heard all day. Getter subsequently banned all use of the word groiper from the platform. Stop banning shit! Why are you making me defend a fucking piece of shit like Fuentes? Let him talk. Let him talk and look like a fucking idiot to the world. Following the deplatforming from major providers such as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, DLive, Fuentes collaborated with Alex Jones, who we will be covering in a future episode, to launch his own live streaming platform, Cozy.tv. Cozy.tv, man. In October 2021. On May 2nd, 2024, Elon Musk said that he would reinstate Fuentes' Twitter account, provided he does not violate the law, and let him be crushed in the comments and community notes. Musk, you're brilliant! We gotta cover you in a future episode. Elon Musk is fucking brilliant. It makes sense. He's like, look, let him bring it back, let him get crushed in the comments. Musk stated, "I cannot claim to be a defender of free speech, but then permanently ban someone who hasn't violated the law." 3 cheers for Elon Musk. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Musk addressed backlash by those who expressed concerns about platforming Fuentes' ideas by stating, "It is better to have anti-whatever, but in the open, to be rebutted than to grow simmering in the darkness." That's what I've been saying the whole time. Upon X's announcement, the Anti-Defamation League issued a statement condemning Fuentes. Fuentes' account was reinstated May 3rd, 2024. But he could still get fucked because he's a total piece of shit. And now that I've covered him, I hope I never have to see anything from him again. I learned about him thanks to Kino Casino clips. And I just wanted to talk about him in the political season. Thank you all for watching. If you actually made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. And, yeah, that's it. Peace. I'm out. Have a good one.